Alright, so I'm going to start running cable. It's going to run out the box that way. One thing you want to get, these are called cable glands. This is probably a cheap Chinese kit. PG's the size in millimeters. Well, not the size of millimeters, I'm sorry. But PG is apparently an old standard, whatever. It works, right? So it happens that the 2-gauge wire I'm going to use, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this PG 13.5 that fits it. So, yeah, I'll show you this really quick. So, there's these plastic fingers, and there's a rubber sleeve in there, and then when you tighten this gland down, it squeezes and compresses around the cable, and it makes it essentially watertight to a certain extent. What I'm probably going to end up doing is just running it off at an angle a little bit so it clears the other terminal block. On the positive block, I might have to run this out this way and loop it back. It's probably too tight of a fit to get it all in here. I'll figure it out, but the first thing I'm going to do is do the negative side. Okay, the next thing I'm going to start, maybe not finish, is getting these cables installed. These are the cables that will take the power out of the box. I managed to find a pack of 1/4 inch 2-gauge lugs. Not sure I'm going to crimp them today, but keeping them there for fitment. Next thing is basically to figure out the length, which is really easy. So I usually run about 18 inches of cable outside the box. I do not have the SB120 power pole connectors yet, but at least get the cables cut somewhat to the right length, and maybe get the hex crimper out, the hydraulic hex crimper, and maybe crimp those things if I have time. So let's go ahead and get started on getting these cables prepared. So these are these things. These things are called cable cutters. Just going to give these a cut. There we go. And let me get rid of the cable glands. So this will be enough to get out of the box and have my 18 inches or so. I'm sure they make a tool to strip this, but I just use a utility knife and just kind of roughly gauge how much I need to cut off, which is about that. And I'll just gently kind of take it around. Then cut it along the length to help open it up. Don't want to dig too deep because you will be cutting into the cable. Alright, I have to take this off camera because I need to keep it close to me to finish the circumferential cut. Alright. Looks like there's a little paper jacket or something. So, the thing about marine grade cable and mil-spec cable is it's tin copper for corrosion resistance. It's not going to be bare copper. That stuff will go green in a heartbeat in a salt environment. And yeah, it worked out pretty good. Just a little bit of a gap between the terminal and the insulation, and then usually what you do is put a piece of heat shrink over this to minimize the amount of metal that's available to short against other metal. But I like that a lot. Now, one thing to pay attention to on the larger cables is you want to crimp these in the right position, because it's really hard to twist these things afterwards. So, you know, what I'll probably do is, once they curl like this, I'll probably put it like that, and then this will go up away from the terminal block and then out the box. That's probably the best way of doing it in terms of how the cable's curving. Now you can work this back and forth and straighten it out to whatever you want, but I just find it easier to work with the curl. Alright, so the particular kit this comes with, this Temco, they've got like regular size dies and they got plus size dies. It's not everything is exactly the spec in this world, but I've never crimped these before. So I'm going to start off with the nominal size die, the 2 gauge, and then this is just a pin that holds the dies in. So just slip one down that way, slip the other one down that way, and just verify that pin's in, because there's a lot of clamping force. Don't want that pin popping out. Then, as always, I like a little dielectric grease. Remember, this is going to get squeezed out and not prevent metal-to-metal contact. And as it squeezes out, it's going to form a nice moisture and oxygen resistant barrier. Now, if this other end wasn't open, you might want to get the heat shrink on, slipped on first, then crimp it. But the other end's open, so I'm just going to wait, making sure I got it going with the curvature I want. So I'll just crimp it like that. Just want to slip it in. So you want this die right about here, not too far that way, not too far that way. Like right around here. Tighten the release valve on this crimper. Start taking the slack up in these jaws, and then once it starts grabbing, I'll maybe do a final reposition. Okay. There we go. All right. I'm just going to hold it gently. So I'll take mix up the stack again. Oh. Alright, so it's got a little grab. Curvature's in the right spot. Then I'm just gonna let this thing crank. So the jaws are closed. Alright. I'm gonna release the pressure. See how it did. Yeah, I got it too far towards the flat part of the terminal and it pinched it a little bit. And that'll be okay. I'll just follow that down. It's really sharp. Just follow that down a little bit. But yeah, I want to say that trying to get this in the camera view kind of did that to me. But I mean, this thing's on there. It ain't coming off. I'll just file that down a little bit. I'm pulling for everything I got. It's not coming off. All right, that's good enough. Yeah, be right back with some heat shrink. What I'm probably going to do is, what you want to do is get the heat shrink, you know, kind of like right where this slope is. You don't want to get it on this flat spot, because then it's an insulator and then you're going to have to cut it away to get a good electrical contact. So kind of like maybe right about there, when it shrinks it'll pull back a little bit, and then you don't have to go too far. You just want to like make sure the open area is covered and back a little bit, provide some strain relief. So that's about where I'm going to put it. Alright, so I'm going to cut it right there. Best thing to do is get a pair of scissors, but I don't see any laying around. So I'm just going to do that, fold it over, give it a nice cut like that. And then, because the other one's going to be the same way, just do both of them now. And then my creme brulee torch. Well, they didn't sell it as a creme brulee torch, but for the chefs, this will be sold as a creme brulee torch in the chef world. I do believe this is adhesive-line shrink tube. It looks a little shiny on the inside to me. And also the last batch I bought was all adhesive lined, and I think this was the last batch. So my fucking white trash neighbors, convicted of gross imposition of a minor. Yeah. Effing great. That's probably, yeah, just a little bit further forward. That's probably what I'll do right there. Alright. Now, for some reason, my torch usually takes 2 clicks to get going. Oh, first click, okay. Don't want to put it right up against it. Oops. Just want to get the heat going. Not actually burn it. Shrunk all around. Let me take a look at it. Maybe a little bit more up front. Just need a refill. Alright. So, butane refill. Little port in the bottom. Oops. Alright. Once it leaks out, you're good. Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, so that's pretty good right there. If you're wondering what I'm looking for the split washer, which is right here. Again, I'm just gonna put down a little bit of hand tightening here. Not really trying to torque it right now. So that'll run outside the box like that. So let's go ahead and figure out positive cable. So if I put it here, there's probably no way I'm getting it then to go out the cable gland holes. Maybe I could put it here and just loop it around. Oh, I like that, yeah. Yeah, so basically, kind of crisscross it like that. This will bend and then come out that way, but I'm not going to cut this just yet until I get that lug crimped on and with heat shrink. I do want to have the one end clamped while I figure out the length. It's always best to cut long, but this stuff's so expensive you don't want to cut too much long if you don't have to. So I'm going to get that insulation cut and we'll do the grip thing again. So again, I'll pull this closer to me. Be right back. Alright, got that one on the first try. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what this paper crap is, but whatever. Before I goober that up, I'm gonna clean up the end a little bit. There we go. Alright, a little bit more gap than I want it, so I'll snip off about 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, that's a lot better. Get this goobered up with dielectric grease. Then this time, I'm gonna try to get this pre-positioned off camera. Let's try it on camera first. I think that truck was the tree guys that the sketchy tree guys come around every year, casing the neighborhood. Kind of guys, if I said, hey, do I get a cash discount? They'd probably be like, yeah, 15%. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm gonna probably back that out right to the lip. Alright. Now, for some reason, this part of the red cable doesn't seem to have a curvature, so I'm not going to worry about exactly how it's going in. Let's check that. Yep, so got it in. Make sure that valve's closed. I'm going to hold this until I know it's crushing. There we go. Just a little bit of air gap on those dies, which is now gone. Okay. Alright. I like how when you take the pressure off, it retracts. Now, didn't get all the way in, but it ain't coming off. So if you're doing this right, with the right die, I mean, or the right crimp tool, it's going to put just enough pressure to do like a cold weld. If you cut this open, it's going to look like a solid piece of wire, not stranded. And that's what you want. It's gas tight, so it's going to hold up to oxygen and moisture. And get this, well, do like I did in the other one, which is goobered up this open area. Heat shrink will take care of the rest. Just trying to get the clean edge out here. I can have the not so perpendicularly cut edge back there. Alright, that's probably good enough. Freshly filled with butane, so let's go. Starting to shrink. Sorry I took you out of frame. It's kind of hard to do this close to the table. But yes. Ooh, that's a little hot. Okay. But that's pretty shrunk on there. Alright, so another cable done. Alright, I'm back. So I'm thinking that probably is enough length. Yeah, it's a little bit longer than a foot. Maybe 16 inches. I'm not going to measure it. It doesn't matter. Use a strip time. That's about good right there. So now on the shorter cables, I can sit there and rock this back and forth and cut that circumference really easily. Not so much when they're already attached to something or kind of long. So I'll just eyeball that. Alright. There we go. So I got the SB50 side done, and yeah, these things pretty much go to right up to here, just like the other ones. So that's roughly where I need it. They say always cut to your friend, not yourself. Yeah. Oh. Alright. Apparently I didn't get the circumference as good as I thought. There we go. Alright, we're gonna I'm bleeding from somewhere, I can't see where. Oh well. I'm gonna do the big ones first because I already got the die set up. Since I haven't gotten these cables into any housings yet, I can do any orientation of these I want, just as long as I'm consistent. So I'm going to start the way I normally start. Alright. It just started grabbing, so get this goobered up. And to make this easier on these will eventually relax. So I'm going to crimp them in curled up. Still a little air gap there. Still a little gap. Alright. Just a little hair. Alright. That's what that looks like. Yeah, I'll crimp it a little bit more. This is probably good enough because I'm not going to be carrying as much current through this as I would if I'm running the full, like, what is it, 200 amps through this. I'd only be using this in an application where I'm like 100 amps or something like that. So I've got enough crimp for that, but hey, while I'm here, somehow this was up, now it's to the side. Oh well. Alright, there we go. Alright, just have to remember to do that with the red too. Out. Yeah, once these things bottom out, there's no sense in keeping the crank this because you'll just break the die. So, as a reminder, I will insert these now. There we go. Alright. A little bit harder than the big 2-gauge cables, but whatever. Maybe it's because I got grease all over my hands. Alright. I just need to change these dies really quick to 6-gauge. these are 6. Yep, 6 and 6 and 6. All right. Tighten the valve. Up until recently, I had a kind of like a bench tool that would fit a bench vise that would do this crimping. I actually think it was made to be whacked by a hammer, but I found the whole process more controllable if I put it in a bench vise and did it slowly. So this is only going to require 1 crimp, not 2. Oh, I gotta crimp these upside down, or not this way, the other way, if I want them to not have to cross when I crimp them into the SB50. So I will, let's see, do the negative first. Cutting the strands, popping out. Alright, so that's what I got. I'm gonna keep this jammed in with some pressure while I get the crimp started. Oh, so much easier. Die already bottomed out. That's bottomed out. Now, so positive, negative. Stupid dielectric grease. Oh, it's so hard to get a grip on this with all the stupid grease. Maybe the red wants to go first. Maybe he wants to be a team player. Yep, red's a team player. Mr. Negative over here. There we go. Woohoo! Yeah, now I got my adapter cable. Alright. Yep, this is just gonna sit in this battery box with the battery and solar charge controller, and if I need it, I need it. But it belongs with the box because right now this is the only thing I've got that has this SP120 connector. So might make more of these in the future. Don't know. Alright, that's it.